Okay, Jessica, this is Ramsey, and Ramsey is 5 years old, and he is about to begin um, kindergarten. And so we are looking at putting him on fast tracking an August reading program for him. And what we're doing right now is just basically seeing if Failure Free is going to be a good fit for Ramsey as a beginning kindergarten transition program. Jessica, as a mother, I know that you're concerned about having a program that's easy to use, and you've never taught reading before, and you want to work with him in the evening. Am I correct?
Right.
Okay. Now, so one of the advantages of Failure Free is that you can use it as a way to work with him at night, go over the process, which I'm going to show you in a moment, and then you can also use the computer as well when we're done. Okay? All right. Now, Ramsey, let me just ask you something. I'm going to show you all of these words. Okay? And I'll show that right there. Ramsey, can you read any of those words right now? Yes or no? No. Okay. All right. So one of the things we're going to try to do, if Failure Free is a good fit, is to see whether or not we can have him reading some easy-to-use books at the end of the night. A scripted, very easy-to-follow manual. It has icons in it to show you when you can read, when you can use the software, when you can do any of the reinforcement activities. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, Ramsey, we're going to go through the first lesson, and you are going to read a story about a person going to the park. Now, do you know what a park is?
It's a playground.
Yeah, is that a playground? What's your favorite thing at the park?
Playground stuff?
Yeah. Do you like the swings?
Yes.
Okay. Well, in this story, just like you go to a park with your mom and dad, this person is reading a story to you. And he's going to tell you something, okay? And all you have to do is listen to the story. But before we begin, I'm going to ask you just a couple more questions. You know what a park is, and what's a mother?
It's a mom.
Uh-huh. And where is your mother? Can you point to her? Yes. And you also have a father, don't you? Now, he couldn't make it today because I know he's working, but this story is about a person, Ramsey, who's going to the park with his father and his mother. Does that make sense? Yes. And the person is going to tell you what it's like to go in that park. So, Ramsey, I'm going to read part of the story to you, and then I'm going to ask you a few questions. Okay? All right. Ramsey, listen as I read this part of the story. And it has it right here where it's the listening component. I am going to the park. I am going to the park with my father. I am going to the park with my father and my mother. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. What is the person going to do? Ramsey, what is the person going to do? Go to the...
Park?
That's right. Who is the person going with? With his... what's a fancy name for mom? Mother. And who else is the person going with?
Brother?
Uh-huh. But in the story, who did it say? Going to the park with the mother and the...
Father.
Oh, you're just a brainhead. Okay, now I'm going to ask you a special kind of question, Ramsey. And this has no right or wrong answer. You just tell me, how do you think the person feels about going to the park? How do you think they feel? Yeah, oh, he's so smart. Happy, that's right. And how do you think the parents feel about taking the person to the park? How do you think they might feel taking their child to the park?
Happy?
Happy as well. Okay, now, Ramsey, I'm going to read one more more time, and then I'm going to stop, and you tell me the word that comes next, okay? I am going to the...
Park.
Perfect. I am going to the park with my...
Family.
That's right, and that makes perfect sense. And also, who's the person's going with? I'm going to the park with my father. That's right. I'm going to the park with my father and my...
Mother.
Perfect. All right. Okay? So, now, we know he understands. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put him on the computer and see if this is a good fit for him right now. Okay? So... Joe Lockovich. I am the author and the developer of Failure-Free Reading. Today we're going to read a story about a person who is going to the park with his father and mother. You're going to be introduced to many words in this story. You might know some of the words. If you do, that's great. But if you don't know any of these words, don't worry. You will be able to read this story anyway. Trust me, you're going to do very well. Just relax. You'll do great.
The first important vocabulary word for this story is park. P-A-R-K. Park. A park is a place where children can play and have fun. Parks can be big or small. Parks can be found in the city or out in the country. There are lots of fun things to do in a park. Some parks have playgrounds filled with swings and slides and games. Other parks have lots of trees and big fields or boats and places to swim, while other parks can be found right in the middle of a city lot.
Does that make sense?
Please click on the forward arrow to continue with this lesson.
Yeah, here we go.
Or click on the backward arrow to hear this word again. The next important vocabulary word is father. Father is just a fancy name for dad, or daddy, or papa, or whatever name you call your father. A father is a man. The next important vocabulary word is mother. In this part of the story, the person is going to tell you what the person is doing. The person tells you that he is going. He will later tell you where he is going and who he is going with. You will know the person is talking to you because he will use the phrase, I am going. The phrase, I am going, is made of the words, I am going. I am going to the park.
What does that say? I am
Going to the park.
Who just read that? Who just read that? Yes. Let me hear you read that one more time. Read that right on the screen.
I am going to the park.
Well, you... No. How did you do that? Let me hear that one more time.
I am going to the park.
Yes. Let's hear... Let's see if we can do one more part. Come here.
The person is now going to tell you some more information by combining or putting together the
Come on over here.
Why
We
does
don't...
it have to be so far this time?
with a new phrase. The new phrase is, with my father and my mother, is made of the words, with my father and my mother.
Does that
The
make sense?
phrase, with my father and my mother, is a special group of words that explains who is joining the person. Please click on the forward arrow to continue this lesson, or click on the backward
Now, if I
arrow
had
to
him
hear this
on-
phrase again.
A tablet.
A tablet, this would go a lot easier, and that's... But I didn't
When you
realize
flip the
that.
sentence,
I wouldn't have
I
thought
am
about
going
it, but
to
that
the
does make
park.
I
sense.
don't know
With
how.
the
That's right,
phrase,
he's not totally
with my
engaged.
father and my mother, we get the sentence,
Look, Ramsey. Look.
I am going to the park with my father and my mother,
Listen
is
about
made
it.
of the words, I am going to the park with my father and my mother. The sentence, I am going to the park with my father and my mother, now tells us who the person person is going to the park with his father and his mother.
Here you
Please
read
click on
this.
the forward arrow to continue with this lesson, or click on the backward arrow to hear this sentence again.
Okay.
I am going to the park.
That was beautiful. And you see that little dot right there? That's called a period. That tells you to stop for a second and take a breath. Now let's hear you read this part. Right here.